tail stuff, falling down the street, doing 100 stud and match the gas, blowing Mac, junk, sucking the trunk, yeah, I got that ass, riding low, taking a 4, 4, 5, with my head, stud and max the back, and then I'm staying with my left hand, throwing it down my homies, we get back the buffers, look at that jump, 3 suckers in the trunk, falling to the nearest stump, smoked up, riding deep, too thick, on the creek, falling through the orange mound down, and it's how it be, sucking sisters out, in the river, let them all drown, kilo back to 38, blow the stuff, tail down, number that blunt, dropping tricks, stop, they care my business, the click is too thick, dropping tricks with the quickness, still get my jimmy fling, from the girl who love the teeth, hit me on my horn freak, still gotta hit the knee, drop it off, front, get your tail, some pieces, I'm out, you riding in my truck.
What's good? Who with me? Let's get it.
With my dog, bought another speed bump. Only down my hundreds, I got bodies in my trunk. There was flat, carry 2, 6 in a bra on the steamer stuff. Do $1 million down, that's the sound of my first line. Go ahead, pull the bandage, 50 pop, put the take.
Come on.
Ran up on the band, took the food out, spit it dead, never dead. Now I got a peep of the drizzle heads. Only down and lost it. I don't know what caused it. Maybe it's because the sucker violate my peace. I'm in the steamer trunk, smash the gas and shoot the front. Remainers of the blessing phone, I drop them in the garbage dump. Ran up in the bank, took a stack from the cracker jack. Fast from my face with the tick to the boy sack. Drop it off slow, don't you know that I keep you big. Don't turn them down, just give me all the cheese. Trick on the loose, sticky from the food, then I bail out.
Who with me? Dial up. Big news today. I'm dropping it in a minute. Come here. Who with me? Good evening. Welcome to Wyatt Live, the 5 p.m. drive home show. Who is with me? If you hear me, say yeah. Hey, I think today's gonna be a short show. Let me tell you why. It took a lot for me to get here, for me to do this right this second, but you know me, once I hit the go button, you never know. You never know. Once we hit the go button, it's time to go. Beam me up, Scotty. Beam me up. Hey, I got a few things I want to talk about today. Let me get the chat up. Let me get the chat up real fast so I can show everybody. Y'all can share each other's comments. You all can sidebar. Let me see if I got it. Look like I lost a few people. We're going to do this way anyway. All right, there it is. Good evening. Appreciate it. If you hear, like and share. Wyatt Live, a short show. What's good, Black Not Democrat? That looks like Drop is in the building. I don't know who else we got in here. Yeah, that's what it means, Jenny. Looks like I hit a brick wall. I'm not seeing any of my chat on the screen here for some odd reason. The only thing that's showing up right now is YouTube chat. It's not showing me any of my Facebook chat. It's not showing me any of my any of the other chats. I don't understand why. Let me see if we got an issue here. Streaming. I don't know what's going on with it, y'all. For some odd reason, I can't see the chat from Facebook. Looks like Angela just came in and said solutions. Let me see. I don't know what's going on here, but it looks like the only thing that I can see in our chat box on the screen. Here, hold on. Y'all know what I do. I got my back scratch. Peace and love. Kenneth Jones says, why can't I see the YouTube, excuse me, the Facebook chat on the screen here. I'm not quite sure what's going on here, family, but I'm going to try to work it out. This is definitely not my area of expertise when it comes down to this, the tech end of it. Brenda Early says, happy Tuesday. But yet you see it's not coming across. The only thing that's coming across are my YouTube mentions, or, you know, the chat. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know what's up with that, but I'll leave it up. Jenny says, cannot see the chat either. Let me ask you, can you guys see? Let me go to the page and see something real fast. This ain't gonna slow nothing up. I really wish we could see the chat, but just in case not, just in case you can't, I just want to know if we can or not. Then we'll get into what we're doing. Hey Jenny, I know you here. Can Anthony Prosser AP says, Wyatt, put them damn glasses on, not solutions, bro. You're right. I couldn't see shit. I'm sorry about that. I can see it on Facebook. Terry Anderson says, I can see it on Facebook. Okay. I see it. AP says he sees it. All right. I'm the only one that can't see it. So we just gonna live with me being the only one that can't see it. So Angela Kenny says hello. I can actually see it on my Facebook here, but I can't see it on my production screen. And that's okay. No big deal. So today, if I miss a comment from you, or if you say some shit, I have a legitimate excuse not to respond, because now all the messages aren't coming over. Cleopatra Jones just chimed in. Let me tell you who I got on my screen so far, or who I can see here. And there's a hell of a lot more people here than what I actually see. Let's see. AP, I see you. Jenny, I see you. Angela, I see you. Jenny, I see you. Brenda Early, I see you. Kenneth Jones, I see you. Terry Anderson, I see you. Anthony, oh, I got you. Crystal Realright, I see you. Sandbox, I see you. Brenda Early, I see you. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, but I don't want to cut my YouTube people out. So YouTubers, go ahead and make Lewis Johnson, I see you. Go ahead and keep on making your comments and we'll let it fly up on the screen. I got a special announcement to make. I don't know if y'all really care, but I want to do this now while I got a few people here, because those few people might be responsible for this news that I have in regards to the Wyatt Live show. Y'all know I started Wyatt Live March of 2020. And it's been a great, great ride. I'm still here because of you guys. And I've been thinking, like, how do I've talked to people, sidebar conversations away from the show, wanting to know what we can do. If it lasts 3 years or whatever, I guess I can take it maybe to another level, and I'll reach out and try to make it something. Okay. Not me, but make the show something. So I've done that. I've hit a peak. I've not a peak, because that means, you know, you peaked out. That means that you're done. But I've hit a spot that a lot of people have been shooting for in this podcast game. And I want to thank everybody here for the success that the Wyatt Live show is having in being able to sustain and stay alive and be here. And it's thanks to the people that are listening. And let me just say this to you. Yes, Crystal Hawkins. I'm sorry. Yes, I can see you. She says, I'm here. Can you see me? Loud and clear. Beautiful. Crystal says, yes, we're still here. I'm sorry. I got a little technical problem going on here, but we're going to get to the get to. I just want to say thank you to these people, to everybody, because if you know me, I started out saying we got 4, now we got a few more, right? And I've always said that. So I want to thank everybody who comes on Facebook, who comes on IG, who comes on YouTube, all the platforms. But I got to give it up to those who, there's Sabrina Calloway. She just popped in as well. I don't know what it is. It just showed up on the screen here. I don't know. Is that Facebook, Sabrina, you're on? Stephanie Hyde just chimed in. No, I'm saying we still here pushing since 2021. Yes, absolutely. But we hit a milestone. We are now, I want to thank everybody because of you guys. We are now at a milestone point on YouTube, and now we are monetized. Miss Pittsburgh, what's good? She's on YouTube. We are now, oh, okay, Sabrina says no, she's on YouTube. People are converting over to YouTube. I'm starting to notice that. And I want to thank those that have done it and those that haven't, we'll get there. But we're now at 1,000. Remember, I was like, we're this close. Chris Saul, what's good? We're this close to 1,000. Fame, what's good on YouTube? Well, we have surpassed it. We're over 1,000 subs, 1,000 subscribers. Thanks to everybody here. I'm blessed. Thank you. Don't mean anything other than we got more than a 4. We got more than 4. We got more than 4. We got a few more than 4. McConnell, what's good, brother? Appreciate it. It's a hard task because y'all know I sat on that punk ass 96 subs for about a year and a half, and I wasn't asking for it. I was just like, if people do it, they do it. I didn't know the significance. I mean, nobody's getting rich. It's not about that. It's the relevance in the space and where I'm trying to take Wyatt live later on down the line. Y'all know I've sank a lot of my time and a lot of my money into this thing called Meta. Okay, it's the metaverse. And with over 1,000 subs, subscribers, and us as a family, this is going to be a good thing because it just makes me buy more property over there in the metaverse world for us to share and be part of. I don't want to share all the secrets, but that's what it's all about. Our metaverse world is going to be crazy. And now that I see that the people want to back it, being yourself, come in and enjoy conversations. Can you imagine sitting down watching the Wyatt Live show and you're hungry and you say, well, let me see. You look over your shoulder and you can look in your screen and you can see that there's Pizza Hut or Domino's or whatever. And you click Domino's. Let's say you want pizza. You click Domino's and a pizza can be at your house from Metaverse, from us in 30 minutes. You can order your food from watching us on the screen, not missing a beat of the show, ordering from our Pizza Hut right here on the show. That's where we're going with it, y'all. It's going to be a beautiful thing. It's going to be one of them things where a combination of Uber Eats and a whole lot of different collaborations with different businesses. This is the future. This is the future. It's the future. People might not see it. I want to be part of that future. I've invested in that future. So I want to share that little bit of inkling on what's going on so people will know. Let me see who else, what else I got going on. Sorry, I got to go here. Oh, Cleopatra Jones, what's good, sis? Olympia, what's good? All right, let's get started, man. Enough about that. Thank you. 1,000 subs. We're over 1,000 subs. I want to thank everybody. Key, my ocean. Thank you. A lot of people. Yes, it is. Appreciate you, Miss Pittsburgh. Black Not Democrat, Wyatt Live is not how you start, it's how you finish. I've been hearing that from you for a couple years now, brother. I admire people who don't get up and who don't give up and keep moving forward. And they push. They push when the wall won't move. They just keep on going. Okay, good, Cleopatra. Got you. Make sure you touch base with me. I'll tie you up into some things. Just to let you guys know, there is property for sale in the metaverse. Just read about it. I don't want to try to school anybody on it right now. I'm not at a professor. I'm not at that point now. I'm not at a point where I feel like I can school people on the right decisions to make in the metaverse. I just want you to be part of what I'm doing in the metaverse. I want to thank those that reached out to me and asked questions about it about a week ago. All right, so let me get to it right here. Couple things I want to talk about. Stephanie Hyde, what's good, sis? That's my cousin, y'all. Let's see. I was watching Emmanuel Livingston's show before I came on here, and he was talking about conflict resolution. That's what I call it. He was saying, and that's what it is. He was just basically saying that we need to do better at solving problems. And I'm like, yeah, because all the shooting that's going on, all the killing and all that within the community. And I'm like, this is what I've been talking about over here forever. But I've been called names, and I've been, you know how it is, man. I ain't quite went as far as Kanye, and he's on the list to talk about today as well. I haven't quite gone as far as Kanye with the words, but I've been called names because of how I see how we deal with things and how we need to start dealing with things. I wish Emmanuel was watching, because I was gonna call in, but y'all know his mouse or something was not working, so I didn't want to call in and have that discussion. So I said I'll just wait till 5 o'clock and I'll bring it up a little bit. Stephen Speed, what's good? So what did he say that I haven't been saying? And this is respect to him. This has nothing to do with him. It's just like his audience, if they ever heard me say this prior to him saying it, it probably would have been some problems. There probably would have been some issues if I would have been saying the same thing that he was saying. Angela Noble, what's good? Michael Metcalf, what's good with you? Betting Sports Show, what's good? But I've been saying this conflict resolution is part of the problem. And when I say things like it starts at home, people get mad at me. They think that I'm attacking the family. Well, I got an example to use. I don't know. I don't want to talk about this. This wasn't on my list, but since it's, freshly discussed on Emmanuel's show, I want to say this. When I was a kid, I went to the Boys and Girls Club downtown, LeBlanc Boys and Girls Club, one of my spots. That's where we went, the whole community, most of us. And let me tell you something. Conflict of resolution is supposed to be taught at home. No one else can teach your kids that. Let me show you proof of that. You ever seen somebody go somewhere, like to the Boys and Girls Club or to a school, and always get in trouble at those locations? They get in trouble at the school. They get in trouble at the Boys and Girls Club. They just get in trouble. And everybody working in the Boys and Girls Club or working in the school call these kids disciplinary kids. They call these kids that have problems. Like they can't be fixed or they have disciplinary problems. That's because they're not learning conflict resolution and discipline at home at a young age. And here's the other thing. What up, OTB Boxing School? Congratulations, young man. I see you moving. You moving the needle, brother. He moving the needle. Go check him out. And y'all know I've been talking about this for 2.5 years that I've been on the air. Not every day, but damn near. And my thing is this. He said the problem in our community is we have a conflict resolution problem. I have to agree with that to a certain extent. But then what he kind of said that I disagree with is he feels they should teach it in school. And what I'm trying to tell you is there's certain things that you can't be taught on a part-time basis. There's some things that you have to be taught, and it has to be a full-time, full-court press. It has to be something that's sustained in a kid's mind day after day after day after day. You can't just have somebody teach a kid for 3 or 4 hours at school, respect, morals, and things of that nature, and then they go home and their mamas and their daddies ain't calling them. They calling them everything but their first name. You little mother, you get on my effing. This is going to override anything outside of the home is trying to teach these children. Kids generally are raised, they generally act the way they were raised. I read a comment. Somebody said, you show me a bad kid, I'll show you a bad parent. It all depends on what kind of bad we're talking about. Some people clarify bad as being something different. Okay, I'm talking about a unmannered, undisciplined child probably is not getting the proper things at home. You can send them to school and they going. This is what I had a disagreement with Emmanuel on. I agree with 97% of what he said. But what I have a disagreement on is this. I don't think that you should look for the schools to teach your children morals, respect, and conflict resolution. They should already be, it should be installed in them. I'm not saying they shouldn't bring it up. I'm not saying they shouldn't exercise it when it needs to be put in place. I'm saying, like I've told you guys for the last 2.5 years, all I need the school to do is teach my kids ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. I got the rest. And then I heard somebody say, but everybody don't have that at home. This is where I'm telling you, you can't teach kids morals, respect, and all that type of stuff on a part-time basis. They can get all the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s at school and the morals and the responsibility, respect, and all that at school. But if they going home to dysfunctional environments, chances are that's what they're going to be. I'm just being honest with you. I know people going to hang up on me. They're going to disconnect me. But this is a fact. This is not my opinion. I'm not saying that bad kids don't come from good homes. I'm saying most bad children come from dysfunctional homes. Now, if you have a bad child, that don't necessarily mean you had a dysfunctional home. I'm not saying you're running a dysfunctional home. I'm saying that you can't, the majority of the bad kids that are out here generally have parents that are just irresponsible in raising their children. You can get mad at me if you want to, but this is a fact. This is not my opinion. This is a fact. So what I say to you, E-Man and a few other people, when you say that shouldn't they implement conflict resolution in school? My thing to that is sure, but chances are it's not going to work because these kids are getting a conflict resolution at home, whether it's positive or negative. And you ever seen kids, I think I said this just on Thursday, you ever seen kids get into a fight at school and then their parents come up to the school? They supposed to be the conflict resolution. You ever seen them come up to the school and they act just as fucking stupid as the kids? Where you think it comes from? The kids get it from the parents. And here's the other thing. I want to use this as an example. The reason why I brought up the Boys and Girls Club is because of this. We used to have this thing at the Boys and Girls Club when I was a kid called Big Brothers program. We all know about that, right? Anybody know about the Big Brothers program where the fortunate kids, in our case, we were from downtown. These kids came from St. X. These kids came from St. Xavier High School, not the university. These were high school kids. I didn't know. I thought Xavier was the college back then too. It was, but these kids came from high school. So they were white kids living in these really nice areas who would come down to the ghetto once a month on a Saturday. And we do our Big Brother program. And that was supposed to teach the kids in the hood that there's a better, bigger life out there. There's bigger shit out here to do. Well, let me just say this to you. That's showing somebody something on a part-time basis. That's not going to work. A lot of us didn't get anything out of that other than, hey, we got free shit that day. We went to Kings Island. That was the best time of our lives. We might have went and got some hot dogs or, some conies or something like that on those Saturdays once a month. My brother-in-law did the same thing. He was a big brother to a kid down the way, downtown. And I said to him, and I said it respectfully. He got mad at me. It's over with now. It was 20 years ago. I said to him, I said, bro, you wasting your time doing what you're doing. Oh, because, my brother-in-law, one of them dudes, he's a Southern guy and he was raised by a mother, his grandmother, we had a lot in common. And he's a super nice guy. And he felt like giving back to the community was going to get a little brother, a little brother, big brother, little brother program. And he felt like bringing this kid to his crib every weekend or, once a weekend or whatever was going to make this kid be better than his environment. You can't do that type of shit on a part-time basis. If you want to change that kid, bro, that kid has to be part of your life and he has to be a full-time investment for you. You can't invest part-time anything in children and think you're going to get a full-time product. It just don't work. PC, what's good? Latora Gooden, what's good with you? It just don't work. And that was the point that I was trying to make. I was trying to say, now I brought up the Boys and Girls Club is because they come down once a month to visit us and let us play and jump in their cars and shit, BMWs and Jeeps and shit. And we're supposed to think, that we gonna have that one day. And then when the day is over and they didn't fed us cotton candy and we rode the beast and all this old good shit, they drop our ass right off back down on Logan Street downtown, 1621 Logan Street. Y'all know my mama enforced addresses in me. That's why I know the address to everything, because my mama made sure that I knew the address of where I was going and where I was coming from, where I lived. Who still remember their phone number when they were a child? Anybody? Some of y'all still got that phone number. Some of y'all ain't even moved out of y'all mama crib, but I'm just playing. But yeah, my mother enforced addresses in my mind because we didn't have smartphones and shit, right? So you had to know everything. You had to memorize things. So you can't drop kids off in the hood. You can't give them a part-time attention of how things supposed to be. You can't teach kids conflict resolution in school and think that they're going to have it for a lifetime, because that's just giving them part-time. And you don't even know if conflict resolution being taught in school is the proper thing, is the way you want your kid to be. I mean, the way you want them to understand conflict resolution. I'll say this. My mama ain't going to like this. My mama ain't going to like this. I was raised in a home with 2 women and 1 uncle. I'm gonna share it, Mom. I'm sorry. I gotta, my life is how I get my point across. My mother was 14, okay, when she had. So y'all know my mom, as I got older, she became more like a sister type of relationship. But that being said, my grandmother was a conflict resolution person. My grandmother was an old school, ain't gonna be none if you don't start none. Okay. My grandmother was the one who installed a lot of the passive behavior in me. No, I don't worry about them. They gonna get in trouble one day. You don't want to be with them. She the one who installed that shit. My mother was a little bit different. My mother was more of the, what'd he say? What'd he do? What did you do? And when he said that, what did you do about it? She was one of that. Now, that's not saying anything bad about my mother. It's just I had an opportunity to balance both aggressiveness and passiveness. That gave me a great balance. And it was full time. You understand? It was in the home. And I even got to a point where I was going to a Montessori school, Children's House East up in Madison, in I don't know, what is that up there in Children's House East, up, what is that up there, up the hill from downtown? I'm sorry, not Mount Auburn, but shit, it'll come to me, guys. My apologies. And it was a predominantly all white school. It was a Montessori school, and for some odd reason, I was getting in trouble every day in that school. Matt Adams. It was up in Matt Adams. I was getting in school. I was called into the office a lot. And to this day, as old as I am, I still remember some of them situations that I was put in by teachers, by the students that couldn't relate to how I was dealing with things, how I solved my problems. And I was antagonized. I was not necessarily bullied, but I was being touched by some of them kids, by some of the things they say. Now, this was many years ago, Angela. It wasn't Matt Adams I'm sorry, it wasn't Clifton or Mount Airy. This was in Matt Adams back in the day. I mean, I was a child. But my conflict resolution, if it wasn't for my grandmother making me understand on a full-time level how to deal with these situations. Keep in mind, my grandmother was at McAlbin's for 32 years of her life, and she had conflict resolution like a mug because she started out scrubbing toilets at the Tea Kettle, the restaurant down there, and moved up to associate sales. And there was a whole lot of people in the city of Cincinnati. You know, there's a lot of German background, historically German people, old money in the city of Cincinnati that used to shop at those stores that didn't look too kindly of my grandmother working in a department store. I mean, it's not even like she was working, you know, at some conglomerate company. It was a department store. So her conflict resolution came from a deep space, and she passed that deep space over to me. And it became a full-time situation. What's good, Doug? That's my sandbox. So I challenge those folks who say conflict resolution needs to be taught in the schools. I personally don't think that the school should be responsible for making your kid a good person. School should not be put in place to make your kid have morals and respect for others when they get there, when they start daycare, when they start the kindergarten, and when they're in the first grade. They should already be in a situation where they understand conflict resolution. It's not that difficult. Here's the other thing. I'm going to touch a button on some people. Y'all going to be mad at me. If you want to call, this is the time to do it. But let me say this. One of the reasons why conflict resolution is really tough for people and people want to fight and use violence to solve all the problems is because of how their parents solve problems with them. Now, y'all know, I'm quick to tell you, I got a lot of ass whoopings when I was a kid, but I had to grow up. I had to understand that the ass whoopings are not necessarily how you solve these problems. So I don't find it to be odd that when people are out here whooping their kids and beating the shit out of them and hitting them with sticks and all this old goofy ass shit, I don't see how you can possibly think when that person turns out to solve their problems by hitting women or getting up in men's face or hitting people to solve their problems when they're 14, 13 years old. I don't see why you think that behavior is not a taught behavior. Think about it. The only people that you probably won't hit in those cases are authority figure people. But anybody less than an authoritative figure, you will put hands on. Because you would never hit your mama back when she was whooping your ass. You would never hit your grandmother back when she was whooping your ass. But let somebody out on the streets put their hands on you and you ready to fight. Let somebody disrespect you and say something, you ready to fight. Anger is a taught situation as well. Everybody gets mad, but how you deal with things when you're angry, that's what's being taught. And we're missing that. So this wasn't my topic. I'm just piggybacking off of what Emmanuel said. I agree with almost everything that he said. But Crystal Wheelwright runs a daycare. I can guarantee you right now that most of her kids are good kids. But the ones and the twos, the fews that come in there acting a damn fool, Crystal, on my line, are those your problem parents? Aren't those the problem parents? Aren't those, you just be like, ugh, if I got a waiting list, I'm going to find a way to get their ass out of here and I'm going to move the next person up in the list and I'm going to get them in here. And then that parent probably will have a problem with you because their kid is a problem. It happens. It happens. It's a regular thing. And when parents turn to other places to school their kids, and I shouldn't say school because I don't mean ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. I'm talking about when you as a parent turn around and you want the school to raise your child, that's a problem. That's a problem. And anybody that says that school should teach conflict resolution, hey, You asking the school system to raise your children, and I just can't agree with that. Betting show. Fame says this is why black women are the most brutal. They remain violent. Black women are, oh my God, black women are second only to white men as being violent humans. I don't know if that's true. I respect the comment. I respect you saying something, Fame, but I don't know if that's accurate. And if so, I can see why you would say that. I'm not saying that, I disagree, but I can see how somebody could say that because of this reason. And once again, I'm gonna take a drink on this shit because I'm gonna say it. When you say black women are violent, look what we do to our black women, Fame. They're usually the head of the households in the black community. Am I right or wrong? You probably would have a different perspective of that if there were more black men raising their children in the home. Now, y'all get mad at me if you want to. I'm just the messenger. 74% of our children are raised by single women. And you want to blame the woman for being aggressive when she has to be the mother, the father, the uncle, the cousin, everything to the child? That's a little tough. If there were more black men raising the children and then women were removed, you would probably say that same thing about black men being violent because of the punishment we would have to push on our kids. So when you put a woman in a position to be the head of household, she's getting full blame for an overload. I don't care what anybody says. You can get mad at me. Sheila Davis, good afternoon. Good evening. Kenny Jones, good evening. You can get mad at me all you want to, but we're responsible for how our black women act. I mean, I can't say it any different than that. I can't say it any different than that. If you treat a woman as a queen, she should have queen behavior. But when you treat them like a joker, they're going to do joker type shit. So let me take a phone call because I got a feeling I got a cuss out coming, and that's cool. I can take it. Good evening, caller. This is Wyatt. Who am I speaking with?
This is Fame Rothstein.
Fame, what's good with you,
AKA Hurricane, but you could call me Slurrifane.
Okay. What's good with you, man? I just read your comment. I don't quite agree with it all
the wackest shit I ever heard in my life.
You say what? Say it again.
Your response to my comment might have been the wackest shit I ever heard in my life.
Oh my goodness.
More excuses. That's the stuff you talk about. That's your niche as a broadcaster, as a podcaster. Fuck all them excuses. But you just came in and gave black women 1,000,001 of excuses.
Really, Fame?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No.
Wyatt, listen.
No, that's okay.
Listen.
Go ahead.
No. I understand of your own personal situation growing up. Very young teen mother. I understand. But remove that, your own personal history, and think, if 70% of these women are doing this by themselves, this has been going on forever.
No,
since
it hasn't.
the 60s. At some point, you've gotten the memo by now, but yet we're still doing it, even in 2022.
What's been going on forever, Fame? Be specific on that.
Beating the hell out of your sons, beating the hell out of your kids, being brutal, being violent, showing out in public. I mean, that's kind of, let's be honest, that's kind of what made Tommy Sotomayor be able to get hot. And on some level, Kevin Samuels. That's what made those guys be able to pop, because they were telling some real hardcore facts that black women don't want to hear, and that's a part of their makeup. They don't like opposition.
Okay.
But Kevin Samuels and Tommy Sotomayor, guys like that, even Tariq Nasheed on some level. Everybody, this ain't just black men, even Shahrazad Ali, as a black woman, been saying this for 30 years at least. Since I first heard over on the Donahue show back in the day.
I remember.
Been saying this about black women.
I remember. But you know what they're not talking about? You know what they're not
But
saying, Fame? And this is not me capping for the women. I just got to keep shit 100. You say I'm making up excuses. I just want to I want to tell you that sometimes when people say things contrary to the facts, it's not always an excuse. I just want to say something. I want to tell you that none of these folks, Tashi, none of them are talking about once the black man left the home. They're not talking about that. You can't say that the black man left the home because of the woman. You can't say that. That's not a proven fact yet. You can't say that black men aren't in the home with their women because of the woman. Can somebody prove that? I'd like to know where that came from. So what they're doing is they're dissecting a situation once a man is already gone. And these women ran through so many jokers, and now they're basing the fact that these women are being disrespectful to men because of the things that they have had to go through with the men that they've been involved with. And that's not a fair assessment of why they feel the way they feel. That's not fair.
I just saw a video on TikTok of a black woman dismissing her teenage daughter. Obviously, I mean, we're talking middle school, probably age girls, so sounded so young. Her daughter's claims of being molested by her live-in boyfriend. The mom wasn't having it. Oh, he's such a good man. Why y'all bothering him? And blah, blah, blah. You know, this, that, and the other. And she's telling him the other night when they came home, he came in and touched her while he was drunk. And the mom just completely ignoring that. Like, what kind of mom does that shit? Not saying that doesn't happen to everybody, but I just felt like you know, that's kind of part and parcel.
Let me ask you this, Frank.
You run into the bad people.
You said that who was it that touched the kid?
Her live-in boyfriend.
Okay, so once again, you're looking at a situation where a man did something, okay, caused a dysfunction in that home, and you're sitting here blaming the woman for defending him, but you're not saying anything vicious about what the man did. Don't you think there's some psychological problems with that woman to be able to defend somebody that would do such harm? But then what do you think her impressions really are of men when she has to deal with men like that, touching her children and all that? You don't think that sets a precedent of how aggressive this woman is going to be?
No, because she wanted no part of the protecting her daughter. The video would have been over if she was a real mother and like, what? He did what? Shit, girls, don't call the police right now. There wouldn't have been no need for a video. The girl did the video because she knew her mom wasn't going to give a damn.
Okay. So that's one particular situation, but can you say that type of situation is the reason why all black women are aggressive in your words and how you perceive them? I think that most women, I don't even want to say just black women, because I don't feel good about that. I'll say that most women who are aggressive towards men are aggressive because of what they've been through. It's just like men. What man do you know that hasn't been through some bullshit with a woman who just is so disrespectful to women? Most men who are disrespectful to women was either taught to be that way or they had a bad experience. So if that's the case for men, wouldn't you say it's a potential that's the same? Wouldn't you think that would be the same reason why women are the way they are, because of past experiences with men?
I mean, that would be like giving an excuse to a Klan member. They hated black people because something they had a bad experience with them.
But that's not necessarily
we can't make
true.
Excuses.
That's not true, Fame.
There's no excuse for you treating people
it's not true
improperly.
It's not true that a Klansman has to have a bad experience with a black person for him to hate black people. That's not true.
I didn't say it had to happen. I'm just saying that's what they would say.
Huh?
You know, or they were raised with hate, just like a lot of these women are raised with hate against men. The misandry. Like I said, your particular
let me say this
individual situation. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I was just gonna say this to you. If a young lady is raised by a single mother and she doesn't like the mother has installed certain ways about how men are, it might be from the experience that the mother had, and she's passing that experience on to her daughter. So yes, I can see how her daughter might be a little disrespectful, or not necessarily disrespectful, but is a little leery of men and feel like they can do it on their own because they don't want to be in a situation like their mother was in. So who caused that? We don't know. Maybe the man and the woman had a great relationship. Maybe she did something to run him off. I don't know. But I know we got 74% of a problem that we just don't talk about. And you can't tell me that 74% of that problem is just all on women. Can't tell me that.
No, nobody. No. We're not gonna say that it's all on women. But what we're gonna say is like we're gonna make better choices as individuals.
But John,
You know, a
don't
lot
you?
of times your mate is a reflection of you. If he a dickhead out here doing dumb stuff, probably because you enable it and do it yourself.
All right, Fame, I got a question to ask you. Maybe you'll know the answer, maybe you won't, but this is just me asking because I don't know for sure, but I'd like to share it with you. Maybe you can give me a reasonable answer. Would you say that more men out here have illegitimate children running around than women that have multiple babies with different men? Who do you say outscores each other? If we keep in a scorecard, do you think more women have multiple babies with a man with different men, or do you think there's men out here that have multiple children and over women? Do you understand the question?
I guess would have to be 50-50 because it's only two
50
sections. I don't
50.
I don't get it.
Wait a minute.
I can't do the math on that, but I will say this: there's a lot of kids out there who don't know who their daddy is.
Yeah.
And that's because the mama told them they only know who their mama told them their daddy was.
Okay, well, that might be the case, but I tell you one thing. I couldn't imagine having a baby with any woman, even if I end up not being with her. I couldn't imagine being such a piece of shit of an ass dude where a baby mama, let's just say, wouldn't tell their child that I'm the father. That means I must be the lowest of the lowest. If even a baby mama who's mad at my ass and despise me, I should be a better person. I should be such a good person that even her mad ass could look at me and say, that's your daddy over there. He ain't shit, but that's your daddy. If a woman said it won't even claim me to be her child's father, then it's probably me that's a little messed up in some places. That's just me.
Right. I mean, or like I said, you could flip that vice versa. You know, he won't even claim the child because you're such a, whatever type of person. I mean, like I said, I understand from your own personal growing up. I've heard it. It's very
it ain't no different.
Heartfelt. It's very
it ain't no different than a lot of people that I grow up. It ain't shit. It ain't no story that it's not common. It's a very common story. It's the decisions that I made in my life that's just changing the outcome of that story. That's all it is. I ain't no more special than anybody else that grew up like me. It's just what do we choose to make? How do we make our decisions in those rough times and those influential times? What decisions do we make? That's the only difference that I ever made, but I ain't no better than nobody that was in the same situation as me.
Absolutely. Yes, I agree. I understand that. But all I'm saying is that, again, it goes back to choices. Just like we don't want to make excuses for the for black folks, and sucking on the Democrat titty for 50 years, waiting for the, keep pounding on, pardon the pun, but pounding on men for the problems in the community when the community is the only community in the world that is matriarchal. Maybe that's why we're the one that's constantly fucked up because we're the only one led by a matriarchy, the only community.
And whose fault is that though?
The white man's, the government. They the ones that made it like that. Women out there, especially depending on the type of mother you are. If you're sitting at home all day, but you've always got someplace to eat, someplace to live and eat and everything, but your kids never see you go to work, they're not going to have respect for men and a father at home. But they see you have to go to work and struggle. That's where the resentment will come from. And there's too many women living off the Democrat Party titty for all these years, for generations. Generational poverty has been generations of women on the system.
But you do know
that means generations are making bad choices in men as well.
But you do know, Fame, that welfare and the system and all that was under the Republican leadership as well, right? It's a program that could have been ended. It could have ended by any administration, but it chose there were times that there were times that the system had changed, qualifications, and can't stay on the system long. Certain parties made those changes. I'll agree with you to that extent. I'll agree with you on that. I don't believe that the reason why women ended up on welfare and things of that nature and men were kicked out of the houses and things of that nature was simply because the white man gave us a way to eat, because that's basically what you're saying. You know, a lot of people say it, Fame.
Well,
I've heard it before.
let's put it like this, Wyatt. You live in a, pretty decently priced. You live on a goddamn golf course. Let's just keep it a buck. All right, you live on a golf course, but you're gonna still be, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Stigmatized by your youth. We're the only community like that. The youth. They give a youth a voice and everything. And that's what I'm saying with these women. We're giving them too much of a voice. The matriarchy has taken over. You know, now that we're accepting gay stuff and all this other stuff they want us to do. Look at
I don't think
what's her
that has
name?
anything to do with women, the gay stuff. I agree with you.
The Abrams woman.
Stacey.
You know, they're just sending all kind of goofy shit at black folks and telling us we're going to accept it, regardless of whether you want to or not.
I agree. I think one party has been infiltrated by a whole lot of different
nonsense, and one of it is not accepting the fact that, like, listen, our women need to come together better. You know, and the men too. I'm not saying that too, but I'm just saying that we're not going to sit up here and not know that we've had a problem for 70 years and we can't fix it. So that just goes back, to bring it home to my original point.
But
We've
Fame,
known for 70 years, for 50 years, that 70% of our kids live without their dads. We got to find a way to fix that, because that's still no reason to be out there shooting at 16, being 19-year-old, shooting at a 16-year-old in the middle of the damn downtown park. All the stuff that we're going with. And it's gotten so bad to the point that we got Negroes now shooting up schools. That was never our crime. And it just happened yesterday in St. Louis.
I understand.
You feel me? So I'm going to hop off here because I'm sure some people done call me all type of names. Hey, I love you anyway, B. It's been real. I had fun.
All right, yeah, I know you're going to get some feedback. He's going to get some pushback. You will get blowback on that one, brother. I'm pretty sure. But y'all that don't know, y'all know, yeah. I'm just I'm an entrepreneur. Y'all know that, right? So it ain't too many things. I grew up on grape soda. All right. Some of y'all don't know. A lot of people, y'all do know, but a lot of people who watch, who may not know the culture, may not understand what grape soda is, but I'm a grape soda dude. Grape and strawberry soda is my thing, other than lemon. I like sweet tea. But Fame, you got to be crazy. You got to be crazy. He didn't really answer that question. He did answer it, but he was wrong. He said 50-50. Y'all know that's some bullshit. Now, I got love and respect for Fame, but that was some bullshit. Fame, you cannot tell me that for every one sister out here that got kids, that she got 3 or 4 baby daddies, you can't tell me that's matching how many fathers out here that got multiple kids with multiple women. You can't tell me that's no 50-50 shit. You can't tell me that most women in a household when they have multiple kids, that they have multiple baby daddies. That's not necessarily true. I will say that it's true that a lot of women, not all, but a lot of women that have multiple children have multiple baby daddies. But it ain't nowhere near. I ain't never seen a girl. I'm going to be honest. I know a dude. I have never seen a girl have 7 kids with 7 different baby daddies. That's just me personally. But I know 3 or 4 dudes that got 6 or 7 kids by 6 or 7 different women. That's just my experience. I've seen it. Anybody know any women that have 7 kids with 7 different baby daddies? Any of y'all? I'm not saying they don't exist, but it's probably a needle in the haystack. 7 children she has with 7 baby daddies. But how many of you know a brother or two that got 7 kids by 6 or 7 different women? He might have 2 by one, but the other 6 or the other 5 from somewhere else. That's more common. And that you can't blame on women. You can't tell me a dude that's having 6 and 7 babies with 6 and 7 baby mamas is a responsible individual. I might be talking about you. I'm sorry. That's not responsible in any community. White, black, Filipino, Latino, any other O's and all that other shit. That's not responsible on any level. But I can guarantee you, if we did a statistic, if we did a show on this, specifically on this, I can guarantee you that there will be more men that have multiple children with several different women than there would be women that had multiple children with multiple men. I'm sorry. Let's see. Tracy Dillingham is in the building. What's good, girl? Ain't seen and talked to you in a while. I'm glad you're okay. She made a comment. Let me go back to what she said, because it was something. She says, what she said, let me tell you what Tracy said before I take this call. She said, come on and ride along with me through OTR and look at how many black men are hanging out, making bad choices, not caring for children. Where's your outrage? I don't want to make the show about this. I really don't. Because I got some feelings about all that shit, to be honest with you. I got feelings about it all. Let me take a phone call. Good evening, caller. This is Wyatt. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, what's going on, Wyatt? This is Key. How are you?
Key, what's good with you? My ocean.
Nothing much. Just calling to say, hey, just supporting. I heard your shout out earlier, so
Thank
I was
you.
letting you talk for a minute to get what you need to get out at
Thank
the
you.
beginning, and just calling real quick, saying congratulations on the subscribers on YouTube, but it's not over.
It's
We
not
still
over.
need more subscribers. It's only the beginning, so everybody keep subscribing, comment, like, share, and just keep supporting this channel, and it's going to be bigger and better, and we just need all the supporters we can to get to the top. So
Appreciate you, Key.
that's all I'm saying.
Thank you. Love and support.
All righty.
Love you
All
for
right.
the support. I really do. Thank you, Key. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you, because I'll be, like I say, it's needed. It's needed.
Well,
it is. Because like I say, everybody has an opinion, as you can see. And then, like I say, sometimes we don't have a lot of outsources to get our opinions out to the masses. And little do people know, these different platforms reach a lot of masses. It reach different cities, different countries. And so just thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Key. Thank you for the support. It's
All
much
righty.
appreciated.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Key.
Everybody on Facebook and YouTube.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
All righty.
That's Key, man. Nothing but love for Key. You know, that's my ocean. She breath of fresh air, you know. Appreciate it. Been about that check. Where you been? Been about that check. What's good? He said, I didn't read shit, but let me read it to you real fast. It says, right. A man can have multiple babies on the way at the same time, but a woman can only be pregnant with one baby. Well, she can have 2 or 3 at the same time. But I get your point. You know what I'm saying. I get you. I get your point. You're right. But more likely she ain't about to have 2, 3 kids, no triplets, quadruples, and all that old shit. I've seen dudes. Look, I got friends from, I ain't gonna say from where, because they might take it personal. I got friends I grew up with when we was 15, 14, 15 years old. They had babies. They had her pregnant down there, and then they had another one down. They had one in Law Homes pregnant and one in Lincoln Courts pregnant. And we ain't number 15 years old. Stop it. 14, 15 years old. Stop. Stop. Stop it. We know what the true problem is, you know, and it's like what that young lady said. We got all these men out here that don't want to be, we got all these boys out here that don't want to be men. I'm not beating on dudes, because I got some respectable fellas in this room. I got guys like Justin Sharp. Justin Sharp, you know, he probably ain't here today, but like I watch him. We popped in one day. Y'all know we do the Wyatt Live Messenger group, and you know, we go live sometime in there and get to talking and popping off the shit. And I caught his ass slipping one day. I caught him being the world's greatest dad. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, what the fuck? Who is this? Y'all stop tripping. Y'all mocking. Y'all stop tripping. Y'all hack my account. What y'all doing? And I'm like, no, bro, we checking in. And this dude was doing what they say what they say we don't do. He at home. He was frying some hamburgers. He was cooking dinner. His children was over there doing homework and being respectable. And then I check in with him this weekend, and he then went to New England. He's from Chicago, but he then took the family to New England to the Chicago Bears game, doing daddy type shit with his wife and children. So don't tell me that we don't know how to be daddies, because you're looking at a man that got 2 children and been a daddy since the day they were born, every day, until the day I die. I don't want to hear that shit. And I'm gonna say this to you, and I know this is gonna be another thing. Guys they're gonna cancel me or whatever. Fuck it. It is what it is. But I'm gonna say this to you. I ain't got no respect for men who don't take care of their children. There's no excuse. Y'all got off light. Try filling out college applications. Try waking your kids up in the mornings to make sure they get to school. Try when they miss the bus, get your ass. Try trying to get them to school. Try doing the things that us real daddies do. Now, try doing that if you a single mother. Try doing that same shit if you're a single mother and then your kid acting a fool and you got all this tension and frustration on you, and then you whoop his ass, your child's ass, and then you looked upon as being a raggedy ass black woman who's evil all the time, when she got all the stress that a man and a woman is supposed to take on together, not just a woman. And I keep telling y'all, and then here's the thing, fellas. This is where the women, they were shaking their head. That's right. Why? Tell their ass. This is where they gonna back up off of me, because I've been trying to tell women all the time, all this long time, y'all can't raise men. Y'all can't raise men. But I find it, that's why I also jump on men when you have sons. It's funny how we always want to come around when we join up or sign up on baseball teams and basketball teams and football teams. We always want to say, that's my boy out there. But when it's time to get their ass in school and check them and do what needs to be done, it's a different sense of responsibility at that time. Not all men. I'm talking about the part-times, the same people that give part-time behavior, the same part-time shit, the part-time work that's put in with these kids, like I was telling you about when it came down to conflict resolution. You can't be part-time at nothing and be great at it, especially a parent. Ain't no such thing. So I'm not, you know what, when my mama whooped my ass, it shouldn't have been her whooping my ass when I was a little boy. It should have been my reckless ass, no good ass daddy who had 5 other kids. That's who should have been whooping my ass. That's who I should have been disciplined by. And it shouldn't have took him to put his hands on me. It shouldn't have took my mama to put her hands on me. It should have been a different way of doing things. I just got lucky to understand some things. I was fortunate. I was blessed in life to wake up from a dysfunction that traveled through many generations of my family. And that is, whoop his butt, mama, whoop his butt. Some of y'all, that's an inside thing. If you relate it to me, that was a common thing said to my aunts and them about me. Like, they would say shit like, whoop his butt, mama, whoop his butt. Like, I used to go stay with my aunt, my grandmother over in Stanley Road Towers as a kid. And I would do some crazy shit, whether climb up on the fence all the way up on the 12th floor or whatever, climb the fence. I could have killed myself. But everything I did wrong as a child led to an ass whooping. It's a wonder I'm not beating the shit out of my kids. It's a wonder that I do have some conflict resolution, but it comes from early choices. It comes from how we present ourselves and what we do in between. So it is a matter of accountability, and it falls back on parents. If you can't, a parent can't say, my kid ain't shit because the school system made them ain't shit people. You can't say that. You can't say that. Because if you were really doing what you were supposed to do as a parent, it wouldn't take you 3 quarters to find out your kid been getting Fs for the whole 3 quarters they've been in school. You should have known the Fs was coming after the first quarter or during the first quarter. Now, I ain't got no homework. Now, we ain't never in the history of this school have we ever taken an exam or a test. Now, my report card, they don't do report cards no more. They just send us to school. Who can push that shit off on their mamas or their daddies? Where they do that shit at? How you gonna push off the shit? If you in your children's life and if you paying attention, you know what you working with in your kid. But if you ain't doing that shit and you want to push it off to the school system to teach your kids conflict and resolution, you want to teach you want the school system to teach your kids how to be respectful. You want the school system to teach your kids how to do everything as a human being, then you're going to lose because the school system is not there for that. I've always said this. Y'all know I said it before. School, teach my kids ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. I got the rest. I teach my daughters how to be respectable women, or my wife will. I got my role that I have to play in my young ladies' lives, and their mother has a role that they have to play. It's a nucleus. It's called a family. And oh, it's rough. I'm going to say some real shit right now. It is unbelievably tough to be a father. Ladies, you get mad, say what the fuck you want, but what you think it is to be the mama? No, I'm telling you, ladies, it's hella hard to be a daddy. It's hella hard because y'all different. Women are different. Y'all can handle more shit than we can handle. Juggle shit. True story. Y'all can handle more shit than we can. Y'all have the patience for it. Men don't have the patience for dumb shit. That's why a lot of them don't stick around. But I challenge men that don't want to stick around. I challenge you. And I say to you, before you start having babies with these women, make sure that you'll be able to stick around, bro, because you're doing us a disservice. And ladies, before you start having kids with this dude, stop thinking shit gonna be different because he got 6 kids and your 7th gonna be different. Oh yeah, he loved me more than he loved the other 6 women. Shit is no. You gonna be number 7 looking at the number 8 girl like the last 6 was looking at you. That bitch stupid. She crazy motherfucker. She think he gonna do something different. He all right right now, but give it 6 months. It's not gonna be any different. And no, I'm gonna jump back to something real fast. I'm playing checkers. I've said so much to some people in my life that looked at me and said I was a hater or that I was just being negative. I told my brother-in-law, remember, I'll go back to the beginning and I told you he was a big brother in the Big Brother program. I told him, stop wasting your time going to get that kid down the way. I said it respectfully. He looked at me like I was fucking nuts. Like, you live down there, brother. How can I not? Now, he's an executive at Procter & Gamble. Lived in a really nice big house out in the suburbs. Had 2 daughters just like me. Still has them daughters just like me. But you want to go down to the inner city and pull one little black kid out once a weekend, once a month. And you think you doing that shit for you, bro. You're not doing that for that kid. You cannot be a part-time influencer on this kid's life and give him your life once a weekend, once a month. Can't do that shit. And what happened? The kid got in a bunch of trouble. He didn't get in trouble while he was with you. He got in trouble when you dropped his ass off back down to where the environment. You was trying to teach him conflict resolution, and it all worked well in the suburbs, motherfucker. It worked great out there because everybody on the same sheet of paper. But you can't teach that kid. You cannot. Now, this is gonna be untasteful, but y'all know what I'm talking about because only the strong survive in the jungle. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Where people don't care, they'll rip you apart. You can't teach that kid how to live outside of those walls. You can't teach that. You can't teach it in one day out of the month. And that's such disrespect to me. And then you're going to drop the kid back off in his environment. and you think you being positive in this kid's life. Some might say, Wyatt, you can't do that. You hating. I'm not hating. I'm being realistic. I'm saying to you, if you're going to do this for this child, you're going to have to be full time in this kid's life of doing it. One Saturday out of the month is not going to teach this kid. You can give him college. You can give him a college buff. Y'all know what I mean? Like set him up where when he get to college, half his college is paid for. But if you keep dropping him off in an environment, he ain't gonna never see college. You teaching him something that he don't know nothing about. And every time you drop him off, he can't live by those ways that you talking. I know because I was that kid. So I say to you, when you want to blame the school system because they not teaching conflict resolution, have you ever thought that the school system is looking at parents and looking at people like, why don't you teach your kids conflict and resolution and let us teach them what they're going to need, ABCs and 1, 2, 3s? And I would have to agree with the schools. A lot of people disagree with me when I say, when they ask me, oh, why you think you know everything? You got the solution to the problem. You think, then what's the solution to the problem? What's the solution to the problem of all this crime that's going on with the kids and this and this and that? I don't care if they white, black, green, Asian, purple, blue, what's that one color? That lavender. I don't care what they are. If you bring the children's parents and put them in place where they're responsible and accountable for what their kids doing out here, it's just a whole different way you have to parent your kid. It's a whole different way. And here's what I say to you. I'm not saying that we need to just be tough on parents. I'm saying that this will allow parents to be true, not only to themselves, but to the world. If they in a situation where they getting cased up with their kids, catching cases with their kids, eventually they will have to turn around and tell the system, I can't handle this child. This child is out of my grasp. I can't do anything with this kid. I need help. But a lot of those parents don't do that. A lot of those parents' answers to they can't control their kids is, Ricky, one day you going to get killed out in them streets. One day I'm going to be at your funeral. Ricky, one day them boys going to pull up on you and you're going to go to jail and I'm going to have to send you care packages. One day. And all her stress or all his stress of a dad is going to talk about what it's going to be like one day. But the conversation should be, Lil Ricky, I can't go to jail for the shit you doing. And if you continue to do this, it's affecting me and your mama, or me, your daddy, or your mama. Okay? It's affecting your parents. Not just emotionally, but the liability is there. When you add liability, oh my God, it's a whole different take. If people are liable for the shit that their kids are doing, it's just like insurance. My daughter had an accident in the car. The courts didn't look at her for paying that shit off. They go straight to the parent and say, hey, y'all got insurance, right? Restitution comes out of the insurance or whatever, and whatever the insurance don't pay, you got to pay it. You got to pay the deductible. You got to do it. They didn't ask her for that shit. They asked the parent. So if a kid is getting in trouble out in the streets all the time, you trying to tell me that this kid's parents shouldn't have to face the shit that they kid out there doing? That's what you're trying to tell me? So if I'm wrong, prove it to me. Because the way it's being done now obviously isn't right. It's obviously not right. Because if it was right, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now, would we? We wouldn't even be having this conversation. All right, so I touched on that. Let me say something about Kanye before I get up out of here. I know some people have been waiting because I sent they sent me posts and asking me about Kanye and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to lose a few people when I talk about Kanye because I'm going to sound like I'm trying to be like indignant. Like I think I'm better. You know, that's what happens when you start talking to people about things that they don't know nothing about. They think that you are trying to be over, you know, you trying to talk over them or something. I, quite frankly, don't think that Kanye is crazy. And if he's crazy like a fox. I listened to Kanye in several interviews. I listened to Kanye on Piers Morgan. I seen it on YouTube or some shit like that. It was a pop-up for me. And I listened to him. Let me tell you why y'all think he crazy. The reason why y'all think Kanye is crazy is because he's not just like myself. I'm not a very good presenter. Okay. I don't do a lot of presentations and I don't write a lot of notes. I tend to put all my feelings on my shoulder. I put it all on my shoulder, and before they hit the power button or hit the play button, I know everything I'm gonna say. I got 10 topics. I got 10 things I'm gonna say. And what happens is once the lights cut on, all 10 of that shit come out at the same time. And it sound kind of crazy. It sound like I'm all over the place because I really am. But that don't mean what I'm saying don't make some sense. And for y'all that really think Kanye is crazy, you don't understand how it is to be in a position that he's in. Okay, he's in a position where, like I said, he don't use notes. He don't use prompts, teleprompters. Hell, our presidents are sitting up there reading shit off a prompt. And then it's chickens and chicken and American people, I love you. Say that again. Reading the directions on the teleprompter. Exit left. Give me somebody without a teleprompter. Give me somebody that's saying some shit off their dome. And I'll tell you somebody who is, chances are they're speaking from the heart. The delivery might be mad. It might not be great. It might be brutal. But I want to get into what some of the things Kanye has said. What I don't agree with, I'll start out with that. I heard him say, now I'm not going to justify what I heard him say, and I'm not trying to justify him say when I heard what he said, but I know the contents that he said it. When he said slavery was a choice. Now, y'all know they set that up. I don't agree that slavery was a choice. Slavery is not a choice for any group of people that's been enslaved. I can't think of one group of people on this planet that has not been enslaved. Black people, we think that slavery means black people. We think that slavery is just primarily us. And that's not the case. Worldwide, from the top of the planet to the bottom of the planet, you can't tell me there's only one group of people that have never been enslaved. Do your research. Every other race of person has been enslaved. There's a lot of group of people that enslaved their own people. Do your research. But that being said, I don't agree with Kanye when he said slavery was a choice. But I agree in the context of what he said it in. He didn't say it like it came off. Nobody can show me a clip where he said people love to be enslaved and it was a choice. He was talking about a certain part of slavery when it was a certain piece, when it was still, slavery still went on after that, after your boy, after Lincoln signed the freedom rights. Slavery was still going on. Nobody in that interview brought up the fact that he was talking about at that during time. And the reason why he says slavery was a choice is because of this. Based on my interpretation of what he said and when he said it and how that conversation was going. You do know that when they freed the slaves didn't have anything. They gave them land and farm, but they didn't understand the economics. They didn't understand it. So they pretty much became slaves because they had to give the shit away in order to get enough. The whites didn't even know how to farm. They didn't know how to farm the lands because the blacks was doing all the farming. He was talking about during that time. Now, I don't agree with him, but I know what he was talking about. Now, I'm going to talk about current shit that he's doing. Talk about current stuff. We talking about him being canceled right now. Kanye is canceling himself because of his business deals. Everybody think that they doing him wrong or they doing him a certain way. Like, look at him. See, he didn't say some shit about the Jews, and now they canceling his ass. Well, isn't it kind of funny and ironic that all the shit that he said about black people, that some of y'all be fussing and cussing and saying F Kanye? You notice none of his sponsors fell off when he was being rude and nasty and disrespectful to black people, right? That shows you how that engine really cares for you. So who is it? Adidas? Adidas didn't send out no cease and desist or we ain't fucking with you no more, Kanye, because of what you feel about black people. They didn't do that then, did they? The banks didn't stop taking his money when he was talking about black people, did they? So all of a sudden he gonna get canceled because of one group of people that he's talking about. And if you really, really understood what he was talking about in the first place, you would clearly know that his point is being made and he's sacrificing himself to make the point. But a lot of us don't see that. We only scratch the surface. We don't peel the onion back too many layers. He used himself. He's sacrificing himself to show you what he's saying is true. It's clear to me. It's clear to me. When he said white lives matter on the t-shirt, some people can't get past. We lose touch of the message because we draw the conclusion of this motherfucker crazy or he want to be white. He showed you that white lives matter more than black lives. That's what he was trying to show you. That's what he was trying to show you. And then he went to phase 2 of it. And he started talking about things about how the industry is. He started talking about how people getting canceled for telling the truth and holding certain people responsible. And more importantly, an independent free mind like that has to figure out a way to get out of all them fucked up ass contracts that he signed. Y'all don't understand this boy is moving. He just moved different than you. And I heard E-Man say some shit like, because he's rich don't make him right. But when you doing multi-million-dollar contracts, you find out how much of a slave you truly are when you don't own the multi-million-dollar contracts. And all the freedom and all of the independency that this young man has in his mind and in his head goes out when you sign with Adidas, goes out of the window when you sign with the Gap. How do you get out of those contracts? You do exactly what he's doing because he understands the world we live in today. It's a cancel culture. But it's also one of them type of cultures that you can easily recover in. It really is. See, the difference with today's world is back in the day, if you got this, like canceling ain't some new shit. That's just a new way of phrasing being blackballed. That's what it is. Okay. We all know what blackballed mean. That shit been said for the last 100 years, right? He's blackballed. It's just called canceled now. Back in the day of being blackballed, You didn't have the independency of media back then. Today you do. Today he has the means to be able to still express himself and get out to the world just like he was doing before he was blackballed or canceled without those writing contracts. Y'all understand what I'm saying? He pretty much relieved himself from those contracts. Do you think think about why he didn't want to do business with Adidas anymore. You and I don't think I would. I didn't ran into some money in my life, so I'm not a slave to more. I'm not a slave to more. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of us are slave till we get there, and then we break them chains. Some people stay slave just to get more. Kanye is just breaking the real slave, the chains. Y'all don't know it. Y'all don't see it because you don't know what his paperwork looked like. His paperwork is different. He couldn't get out of the Adidas deal. Think about that. If you sign the way they were signed, the way he was signed up in there, he gave them all the rights to their shit. They owned him anyway. So you tell me this. Think about him having that Adidas deal. If they own everything you doing, then you don't even own you. You don't own yourself. And the only way to get out of that deal is to do some shit where they relieve you. Adidas and the Gap didn't want to do what Kanye's mission was. Nobody talk about that shit. Nobody's talking about Kanye wanted $20 tennis shoes, $15 t-shirts. He wanted affordable clothes. And these hungry industry people was using his influence to put out high-priced clothes. That's not what he wanted to do. They gave him this much input to make this kind of money. And then they made off the screen type of money. How do you get out of a contract like that? You do what he did. Do you really think this? Let me ask you something. Let's be honest. Let's be honest, folks. If Kanye got canceled by cancel culture, who is cancel culture? Cancel culture is media. Media, YouTubes and all that old shit, social media. But do you really think Kanye fans are falling off of him because of some shit he say about a race of people or a religion of people? Do you really think they canceling? No. The motherfuckers don't care. Soon as he put out something that might not be a ye, soon as he put out something, his fans, his regular clothing fans or whatever, they don't give a fuck about him saying nothing that's anti-Semitic and all. They don't care about that because they're not really the canceled ones. The cancel culture are the people that control the media, control the outlets. You control the media, you control the outlets, you control the minds. We've been saying this for years and years and years. Make him look crazy and people will not take him serious. That's always been said. But what's the most dangerous? What's the most dangerous? I don't want to say thing. That's disrespectful. What's the most dangerous situation you can be? Let me rephrase it. I'm trying to say this with as much diplomacy as I possibly can. This is where I'm limited. Fuck it. Let me say it the way I'm gonna say it, okay? What's the most dangerous motherfucking thing in America right now? What's one of the most dangerous things in America right now? I'll wait a second. I'll wait a second because I want to see what's one of the most dangerous things in America right now. I hear you, Linda. Matthew, she says the media. Kenneth Jones says being black. I'm gonna tell you what it is. Ross says fentanyl. That is dangerous. I'm gonna say it right now. The most dangerous thing in America right now is a black man who's a billionaire who tells the truth about what we've been falling for generation after generation after generation, and who actually exposes the media mind games and the media, and I mean the things that the everyday average person fall for. You don't want somebody out here preaching the truth or the gospel of that. And somebody that's totally independent financially, economically, who does not need any of their support on an economic level, that is the devil to those folks. That is everything that has created the mess that we in today. He can expose it all. A lot of us are just missing the message. A lot of us don't understand it. Everything he's been saying, just think about it. The media highlights the things and they give you snippets of the crazy shit. They give you the shit like slavery was an option. It was a choice. They give you that. They snip it out so it'll look like that's how you feel. They take it totally out of context. Then they say shit. They show you the White Lives Matter t-shirt. Y'all was mad at him before you let him explain what the fuck he was talking about. Now, how do you go from an educated mother to a Black Panther father and you think this man is not smart, educated? His daddy wasn't no fool. He was a Black Panther. His daddy was definitely conscious. His mama was an educator. He's obvious. I won't call him brilliant because I don't think any producer that just fucking samples music is a genius. Nigga, you got to play a flute or something. You got to create something. The Calloway brothers, the Deal, you know what I'm saying? Zap. Those are musical geniuses. Those are people that can play A bar and C's and D's and put music together. I don't think a person that samples music and put bars together from somebody else's shit is a genius. That don't make you a genius. That gives you a great skill. Okay, that means you can put some shit. Dr. Dre is not a fucking genius because he can add loops and put a hot beat out that somebody else created. That's ridiculous to me. But I give him his props. They make good music. But that don't make them geniuses. Diddy was never a genius. All his hot tracks came from other people's music, the geniuses. So now I'll say this to you. Kanye has always been one of those that spoke his mind, but he never had a script. And all his truths and all the places he's been that I've never seen, you've never seen, it all comes out at one time. He's overwhelmed with truth. He's overwhelmed with things that you and I may not ever see. Shit, I got it on a certain level. I could sit here and say some things to y'all and y'all be like, Wyatt think he like better than us, man. I've just been some places that some people ain't been. Do y'all know? I'll just give this one to you. Just so you'll be like, well, what the fuck that mean, Wyatt? I lived in Europe. Like a couple of us have. I lived in Europe. Do you know America is the only place where we call each other Black people or African American? We the only place. You can go to Japan, you can go to China, you can go to Europe, you can go anywhere else. And those same cultural people over there, they ain't gonna call you no Black man. They ain't gonna call you Black American. They ain't gonna call you African American. They gonna call you an American. We the only people in America as Black folks that call each other we African American. We Black man. But we're known as being an American to everybody else across the world. And let me tell you this, just so it'll fit. During Vietnam War, I don't even think I was born. Strategically, I learned a lot from this. Do you know that they had black soldiers out in the field in the Vietnam War? And did you know that what the Vietnamese soldiers and the Vietnamese, do you know what they used to do in their playbook? Some of y'all know this shit because y'all was in the grass fighting and shit. Vietnamese people would go out in the woods, set up speakers in the trees, electronic speakers. And do you know that they would, in the middle of the night and during the day, that they would have somebody speaking over those speakers to the soldiers? And you know what they were doing? They were playing divide and conquer. Do you know they were talking to the black soldiers out there? Go home, black man. This is not your war. Brilliant. Adding divide and conquer tactics. While we out there fighting for the country, the Vietnamese is sending messages through these speakers saying, go home, black man. This is not your war. What are you doing fighting? Muhammad Ali is telling y'all, go home. They don't even treat you right there. Some of y'all wondering what I'm talking about. Like, why would I bring that up? It's the power of the divide. AP, he says the women in Taiwan and the Filipinos call us black men, Wyatt, with a little something extra on it, bro. You talking about back in them days. And that's only because we came over there talking about that soul brother shit. I'm talking about in all these European situations and all across the world now. You can get your ass off of Air Concorde right now, drop off in Europe, and they ain't gonna call you no African American. They ain't gonna call you no black man. They gonna call you, he an American. Kanye telling y'all shit. Now, when he say shit like I'm 20 years, I'm 20 years ahead of time. Now, you know, he ain't quite 20 years ahead of all of us. That motherfucker ain't 20 years ahead of everybody. But he is 20 years ahead of some people. He is exposing systematic problems that a lot of the chaos agents complain about, and they don't even know what the fuck they talking about for real, because they don't face the shit that he faces. The worst thing in the world you can be. You know, I had a lawyer, my personal lawyer. I can't tell you which one because I got a few of them. Always remember this, y'all. When you're doing something and when you get you something. All right, I'm gonna pass this little gem around. All my entrepreneurs, when you get to where you're going and you feel like you there, always lawyer up 3 deep, 4 deep. How your lawyers watching your lawyers. I'll pass that to you. It's never too expensive. And now let me just say this to you. Kanye is telling us things because he's been places that a lot of us haven't been. And he's dealt with businesses on a level that a lot of us won't see. And it's hard for people who have never been in certain places to understand the language, the approach. Like I said, he's not a great presenter. He goes off the dome. So when he says things like white lives matter, it probably already scratched you the wrong way because he said white lives matter with the t-shirt. And then he brings another familiar face into the picture that black folks have a problem with, and that's Candace Owens. What Kanye is saying to people is white lives matter, and they matter more than black lives. His daddy called him. He explained to his daddy. His daddy already knew what he was talking about. He proved it just now with all this canceling shit that he's going through. He said, it's all right for me to say certain things, but I can't say certain things. Let me show you. I can show you that white lives matter. I can show you that Jewish lives matter. I can show you that Asian lives matter. I can show you that all these lives matter. But the one motherfucking life that don't matter to here is black lives. And the reason why black lives don't matter is because you didn't hold me accountable when I was talking about the black community. You didn't cancel me. I didn't lose my Adidas deal. I didn't lose my banking. I didn't lose anything when I was going in on my own people. It didn't matter to anybody when I was talking about black folks and where we need to be and how we need to be done. It only start mattering when I start going in on the system and telling the truth about the system, talking about how they put certain priorities over things. Tell me I'm wrong. Why didn't he get canceled 2 years ago? Why didn't he get canceled when he said slavery was a choice, even though it was taken out of context? Y'all didn't nobody say that shit was out of context. You probably ain't never heard nobody say that but me. So why didn't he get canceled? Why Adidas didn't drop him? Why didn't anybody drop him on all his big contracts? Shit, why didn't the Gap? They all signed him to these major deals. Why he was doing this shit that he was saying? Everybody ain't gonna catch it. Let me take another phone call real fast before we get out of here. Good evening, caller. This is Wyatt. Who am I speaking with?
CK, what's up, brother?
Team CK, what's good, brother? What's happening with you?
He got him by the balls. He got him by the balls. Now, just what you said. Now y'all got to explain yourself, because he just proved all the companies who dropped him to be bold-faced racist. Because you can't explain, oh, so you don't care when he talks about African-American people, when he talks about black people, but he didn't say Holocaust was a choice. He said some things you disagree with about Jewish people running things. And that's anti-Semitism in your eyes. So why you don't care when he talks about the black people? So now he got everybody looking crazy. Charlemagne, are you familiar with Charlemagne?
I am.
Now you see, he tearing them down. Oh yeah, we got to get rid of. Boy, you interview drill rappers who promote the murder of black people every day in their music.
And he promote them. And he promote them.
All it's gonna take is one person to come on this show. So why don't you cancel these people? Why do you promote these rappers for killing black people? But then you got a problem with Kanye West's so-called anti-Semitism when these black guys are telling you they promote the murder of their own people. Kanye is a genius. He proved everybody is fake. Anybody calling them fake is just as fake as him.
Yeah. Well, I agree with that. And you got to understand that Kanye is saying some things that have been talked about for many, many years, but every time we get a messenger, all mysterious things happen to that messenger. They turn the community against that messenger, all the way from Monique to Bill Cosby to a few others that tried to do it. And what happens is the way that you turn the messenger into the bad guy is sometimes they do it to themselves by saying certain things. But you got to understand, it don't take a lot to hang yourself in that spectrum of life. It really don't. When you start holding certain people accountable, then it look like you attacking their money. It look like you attacking them. Like you can't talk about, Kanye's one of the only rappers that talk about how rap music is trash right now and why rappers talking about murdering each other and that shit is selling and it's doing more damage than it's doing good. I mean, we the same people that look up to the dope man in our community because he got a fat ass Cadillac or a Benz in the projects, but he's serving the people poison, and we look up to him. We the only people that do that shit. So
right, and now, like you said, now you have to answer when you saying Kanye, or he's saying anti-Semitism. Hold on, you black, and you got Lil Durk on your show who's talking about smoking on Tuka, who's celebrating the murder of black people. Kanye did not celebrate the murder of no Jewish person. So it's overboard with what y'all saying with the anti. That's ridiculous. First off, it's not what you say it is. And then he claims himself to be Jewish. So how can he be an anti-Semitism if he's Jewish himself?
Well, there's people that say, and this is the ignorance of some people. Jewish is not a race, it's a religion. Okay, so you can be a black Jew. Okay, you can be Jewish if you take up Judaism. Okay, so people that sit back and talk about, see, these are the ignorant people that don't understand certain things. Now, I'm not a religious, I'm not big in religion and all that. So I can't really, name all the religions and the interpretations of this Bible and that and the Quran. I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm not, I'm limited in that area. But I do know that there are black Jews. And if Kanye West wants to follow the Jewish religion, that's on him to do so. But don't laugh at him because you think Jewish people got to be like white people or something. That's crazy.
And you see how he got him now, like you said. You can't say anything else because now with Charlamagne, he's going to look worse. Now when he interviewed Lil Durk or NBA Youngboy, all these rappers that celebrate the murder of black people, now all it takes is one guy to challenge. Hold on, you were just talking about anti-Semitism. I didn't hear you question these rappers about none of the glorified murders in their community. They talking about smoking on other black men. You're not saying that, so you are looking worse. These guys are selling murder, selling death. So and remember with DJ Vlad, you get offended at Louis Farrakhan's metaphor about throwing rocks at the people, but you claim to be an atheist. If you're an atheist, you can't be Jewish because Jewish is a religion, right?
Right.
See, this is the don't get caught up. He did just like you said. You explained it thoroughly. I wanted to get away from them people. Now watch me.
That's exactly what he's doing.
Get out the contract. That's man. Come on, man.
That's exactly what he's doing.
It perfect.
That's exactly what he's doing, CK. All he's doing is he's basically he's trying to get away from those people because he truly wants his independence. And a lot of people don't understand how it is to be a free thinker and not be free.
But hey, what Machiavelli say? Don't go to war till you got your money right.
That's
I got
right.
my money right now. Watch me drop that hammer on.
Yeah, I mean, y'all think that there's not a country that's gonna fuck with Kanye West? He's worth, reportedly, $11 billion. Okay, so if he's worth maybe half of that, because people, we always add yeast to the shit. Everybody explode. Yep. He's probably technically not worth $11 billion. Like he probably has it on paper, because to be honest with you, I listened to him in this Piers Morgan. He said it in there. He was like, I got $130 million to my, in the bank. I can touch that.
Right.
So, that's a lot of money. 130 million, but that's a far cry from 11 billion. But
and remember this, we want to answer Adidas. We want to answer Balenciaga. You was not offended when he said slavery is a choice. He never said the Holocaust is a choice. So the things y'all accusing them of is not even true. You just can't be, y'all untouchable. So we can't even speak on you. And all he did was tell the truth. He said, y'all run the money. Y'all are in control.
Well, they know it to be true. They know it to be. The powers to be. Everybody knows who run Hollywood. Everybody knows who run the banking system throughout America. Everybody knows who runs the economics of the world. And what's funny is chaos agents and black folks, we have deemed white people. I keep trying to tell y'all, stop giving white people so much fucking credit. All right. Stop making them out to be the fucking bad guy to everything, because they don't control everything like you think they do. I keep trying to tell motherfuckers that shit, but they so busy wanting the easy excuse of what's going on and blaming somebody. It ain't always the person that you see first. It's the person that you usually that you can't even see. There's this guy in boxing, in professional boxing, CK, and he's everybody's manager, and he calls all
Bob
the
Arum?
shots. No, he called all. You'll just hear me out a little bit more. You'll know who I'm talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, he called all the shots. He make all the fights happen. He everything, but he ain't never nowhere to be found.
Al Heyman.
So let me ask you, and I know they motherfucker, you know, I got some dealings with these people. I ain't saying nothing about nobody specifically, but all I can tell you is this: the ones that stay in the distance and make all the deals are the ones you better be watching them, because there's a reason why people don't want to be seen or heard or felt. You know, there's a reason why people keep their distance when they're doing big numbers. And you got to be cautious of people that don't like to be seen, but only want to be heard. You see what I'm saying? You got to be cautious of that. Because
and remember that Al Heyman learned his philosophy from the greatest of all time, Don King. Because Don King was the opposite. He was out front. So the next guy, the present day Don King, he learned from Don King's mistakes. Don't be up front. Remember? He learned from Don King, would you say?
Yeah, well, he learned some things, but let me tell you what, I hate bringing up the names, but you brought up the name Al Heyman. Al Heyman learned the game of entertainment from the music industry. And who controls the music industry?
Yes.
You see who I'm saying? Those people own the music industry, and they learned how to pimp the industry. And when you got people that was up that high with the Clyde Davises and all them guys and managing all these groups like New Edition and all these other little groups that got screwed out of all their money coming up, what the fuck you think was going to happen in this situation?
Exactly.
So look, I have no ties to that situation anymore. I'm not even looking to be in that industry with those guys anymore, but I clearly seen some fuck shit going on in that industry, and I just didn't want to be part of it anymore. And it's because I see people will drop $1 million down on the ground, bless motherfuckers, bless 200 people with $1 million and make them fight over it. And scrap and scrape and fight, and then
they got me. Hey man,
go ahead.
I'm gonna listen to you.
Go ahead, brother. I know you got to CKB
yes,
at work, y'all. You know he be sneaking in the back alley and shit, trying to on his smoke break and all that, trying to fit in the show. Thanks, CK. I appreciate you dropping in and giving us that little bit of time. I appreciate it. But Kanye West is doing exactly what a lot of motherfuckers are afraid to do. Don't be mad. Don't be mad. Because I'm going to be honest with you. Half of y'all wouldn't do the shit he doing. You might not say what he's saying, but you don't understand why you got to say what he say. There's just certain things you got to do that's out of bounds so people won't fuck with you no more. Purposely. Davis he told me something. He told me about he said that the Jews are Hebrews. And that makes total sense to me. Y'all know that Jewish is a religion. It's not a people. So first, before you start criticizing people or criticizing and laughing and being part of the get-along gang of nonsense and not understanding shit, we might want to get our study up. Might want to get our study up to understand, because there's nothing, like I tell my daughters this, I shouldn't say this on the air, but I can't stand when my daughters be part of some shit that's ignorant. Like my oldest daughter is a little different, but my youngest is still at that influential spot where, you know, she raised on TikTok. So when TikTok start talking about some global warming shit, oh Lord, me and her got a debate. My oldest daughter a little bit more chill. She a little bit more like me. But in today's world, we got a whole group of people that I call chaos agents who don't really educate themselves from real good sources. They really don't. And I'm not saying that to shoot shots. I'm not saying that to shoot shots. I'm saying that because it's so much information out here, and you have access to a lot of bullshit information that you educate yourself on misinformation. So now you feel you got a solid fucking answer. I got it. I know. Damn it. I didn't read it on YouTube. And that guy said it. He said it. He was articulate. He was smart. He said it. So the shit got to be true because 3-4 people just like him said it. Don't make it true because some YouTubers, such as myself, I have never said anything that I couldn't say. Go research it. It's not how I work. It's not how I flow. But I hear people on radios and YouTubes, locally, far away, saying some of the most dumbest, some shit that just don't make any sense whatsoever. And they'll spread that propaganda because they don't know any better. They don't know any better because they just listening to the next motherfucker. So that makes them smart. So now I'm listening to 2 smart dummies tell the same false information to a whole bunch of people. Amazing. Amazing. This is why I love Malcolm X. For y'all that don't know, I am a Malcolm X head. Okay, because he is the epitome. He is the definition of what I think a man should be. Now, he had his mistakes. Everybody had mistakes. I'm talking about coming from nothing. I'm talking about coming from a situation where he made bad choices. He went to jail. He did a lot of shit that a lot of people would have gave up on somebody like that. Then he converted his life over. Whether it was Islam, whether it was Christ, whoever, he made a change. The man made so many changes in his life, and his changes came from his experiences. It didn't come from influence. It came from experience. Yeah. See, he had to go through things and go to certain places and be in certain settings to understand the change. It wasn't just because somebody said something. Think about it. Think about it. Elijah Muhammad told him some shit that he grew up on and was loving him. And after experiencing certain things, he just didn't find it. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was telling him everything right. What made him wake up and see that? I ain't trying to get biblical. I'm not trying to put my brothers down. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the growth of a man is a thing that a lot of people don't want to see. The growth. Let me tell you something, and I'm going to say this. A lot of people might not agree with me with the Kanye thing, but I'm a nub it. I'm a shut it down in this little shell right here. I'm going to say it like this. Kanye is just like what Malcolm X was, but he's immature with it. Kanye has gone through the same type of life experiences like a Malcolm X, who understands the system, was taught certain things by certain people, and now he's come back to say, this shit ain't right, what I've been taught. And now I'm going to turn around and tell the world what the truth is. I'm going to tell you why clothes don't have to be $150 for a t-shirt. Clothes don't have to be that. And with my name on it, they can pay $20. I don't want kids out in the middle of the street shooting themselves for some fucking Yeezys, some slide-ons that are $300. I don't want my name on that. But I know that I can make, and see where Kanye is actually wrong, if I may. I'm not sitting here capping for Kanye. Kanye got some issues that I challenge. What Kanye is wrong is he's trying to break a mental, and he's trying to do it the wrong way. Kanye doesn't understand that the brain is already, not his, but the majority, us out here, regular world. We're already brainwashed. He's trying to change a system that has already brainwashed people to think success is how much you spend on something. Not how much you have of good quality stuff. It's how much you spend on it. Y'all know I got to say what my grandmama told me, right, when I was a kid. Y'all can be mad at my granny if you want to. She's resting in heaven right now. But let me tell you what she told me. She said, boy, Randy, I'm going to tell you. Y'all know what I'm about to say, some of you. We know the price of everything, but we don't know the value of nothing. Kanye's taking the wrong approach. He's trying to deprogram people. He's never going to be able to deprogram people because a lot of people don't even understand the truth if they hear it. How the fuck you going to switch a cult person from believing that this dude ain't really who you think he is and they've been in their head their whole life? He is trying to change the way people think. He thinks the same influence that he has over people by clothing brands and them wearing his shoes and his shirts and jackets and all that shit. Man, they wearing that shit because it costs a lot. It ain't because it's the dopest looking shit out here, bro. If that was the case, you go over to fucking Old Navy and get blue jeans if it was about fashion. Shit ain't about fashion. Nigga, your belts and your buckles ain't no better than nowhere else. It's the prestige that a brainwashed person has that I can afford this, so look at me. You got to change that mentality. You trying to change. Look, people who are not ready for the truth, Kanye, whatever, you're not going to influence them people, brother. You're not going to change. Matter of fact, they're going to become your enemy. They already your enemy by saying that nigga crazy. They have never walked in your shoes, so they don't understand your mission. How could you say that a man that speaks so much in God and has put God in everything that he does, how could you say that he's a fool? You know who the fool is? The fool is the one that wants the $150 shirt and don't want to hear from the man that's willing to give you that same shirt for $20. That's the fool. The fool is the one who will look at a White Lives Matter t-shirt and just look at the surface of what he's doing. That's the fool. The fool only sees the message. They never hear it. So I'm no fool, Kanye. I hear you. I've heard a lot. I don't agree with everything, but I don't know a man on this planet that I've ever sat down with and I agree with everything they said. Just like tonight, there's people in here that agree with me and they ain't gonna agree with everything. But that's the beauty of this world. And that's the beauty of a free mind. On that note, folks, that's my time. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for the 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you. I appreciate you all being here. Peace and love to everybody. I see you guys tomorrow at 5 o'clock. We had 4. Now we got a few more. Peace and love to everybody. Woo!
Going on the rise up, sing that song, so it's on. Going for the kill, up the jump, trick, boy, jump, act like you want some. 12 do you dumb trick, jump and get your wheels up. Falling down the street, doing 100 study match, they got blowing back, jump, sucking the trunk, yeah, I got that ass. Riding low, taking a 4, 4, 5, with my head, 30 max, the back of the net, I'm staying with my left hand, throwing it down my phone and speak it back to pump, for the second that jump, 3 suckers in the trunk. Falling to the nearest dump, smoked up, riding deep, too thick, on the creek, falling through the orange mound down, and it's how it's gotta hit the mix, drop it off, front, get your tail, some pieces. I'm out, you riding in my truck.
Wanted to pump and bump the stove in the trunk, smoking blunt. And the beamer with my dogs up. Bought another speed bump. Only down my frontage, I got bodies in my trunk. There was flat, Harry 2, 6 in a bra on the steamer stuff. Do a million down, that's the sound of my first line. Go ahead, pull the bandage, 50 pop, put your take hand. Ran up on the fast, took the food out, speed is dead, left him dead. Now I got a peep of the drizzle feds, only down and lost it. I don't know what caused it. Maybe it's because of something violate my peace. Then locking them in the steamer trunk, smash the gas and shoot the front. Remainers of the blessing from the drop them in the garbage dump. Ran up in the back, took a stack from the cracker jack. Pass from my face with the text to the boys back. Drop it off slow, don't you know that I keep it big? Don't turn them down, just give me all the cheese. Trick on the loose, strictly from the food, then I bailed out. Had a steamer, got a bag, now I'm fat, something out. With my rolling note, dump the steel toe. Fell up in the club and started roasting all the girls I know. Don't forget, take her to the room and drop the 10 inches straight in the mouth. Get my tears, now I'm out, now I'm out.